Today marks 1611th day of the lessons, day reflections. And today we speak about reflection. But what are the difficulties, constraints of reflection? Because I think that a lot of times we think that reflection is supposed to be easy. That's not true. Reflection is not easy. And I think that the best example always is with muscle. Reflection is a muscle. And the thing about muscles, of course, we contract and we are able to develop muscle. But what we need to develop muscle, we need to resistance. If there's no resistance, there's nothing happening. And I think that that's exactly as with reflection. We need to have some sort of reflection, some sort of resistance. And if there is no resistance, it's very hard to develop a muscle of reflection. So if you feel easy and comfortable by reflecting, most likely you're not doing it right. Even myself, that I allocated a month to reflection and realized this month, because I was much more effective, I realized all the mistakes, all the difficulties, all the things that is it's coming up. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign of reflection, things that coming up. So let's get started and reflect on what are the constraints of reflection. Number one is your brain is designed to avoid discomfort, not to find truth. So that means when you look into ourselves, regrets, mistakes, disappointments, and maybe even morals changing, values changing. And now, because your morals and values change, the things that you used to do in the past are against those values, against those morals, and that could potentially feel uncomfortable, uneasy. And then the patterns and habits that you develop that is actually not supporting you, staying in toxic environments longer than you're supposed to be. Although all those are really bad decisions that cause and we reflect on those bad decisions, and it might be that it feels uncomfortable. It resists to go there because those emotions that comes up with it, reflecting on it, is negative. So our brains resist to go there, and that's where reflection requires some uneasiness. Not maybe all reflection, because some reflection on just like a small game, an insignificant game, but when you think about reflecting on significant parts of your life, that's come with uneasiness. Number two, you are probably trying to figure your whole life. This is a constraint of reflection. When we reflect, we're supposed to really focus on one specific aspect of our life. If you say like, I want a better life, what that means. Because if you do not know the target, we can shoot everywhere and it still say, maybe this target, maybe it's this target. It's the same as the reflection. We need to have a target what we're pursuing. Do you want to improve your health? Do you want to improve your finance? Do you want to improve your relations? What is specifically that you want to really allocate your reflection, this session of reflection about? Because if we focus on every aspect of our lives on the same single day, most likely will not lead anywhere. Number three, you don't actually want the answer yet. Yet. That's the most important word, yet. And I know that. That's totally true. Sometimes what is interesting that I could even say by my own experience. When something is not for you, but you're not willing to accept, you will reflect around that thing all over how to fix this around that thing, but you'll not focus on that thing that actually need to be fixed because you're not ready to hear that yet. And sometimes when you think you reflect on all around things and you try to improve them and adjust them and if things doesn't work, at some point we need to really accept the truth that we need to reflect on the thing that is actually in front of us, not around that thing that is in front of us. And this is a big thing. Number four, you are likely staying in your head instead of making it concrete. It's interesting that thinking is not reflecting. What it means that we potentially could go into loops of the same idea, of the same thought over and over and over again, and then over and over and over again. And if you do not write it down, if you do not reflect on our reflections, if you do not face the difficult answers, difficult questions that main issue, not around issue. You potentially get stuck in the loops that doesn't serve us. Oh, I'm reflective. Which what we say that I'm reflecting, but what we actually do is looping the same ideas over and over again, and that, of course, I understand that doesn't lead anywhere. We need to really include creativity, include inclusivity, include the things that really allows us to really know what we're reflecting on. Because if you write it down one day, write down second the same thought, idea, third day, fourth day, and you write it down those, and you write down 6 day that you were reflecting on the same thing. At that moment, you start to see that, wow, I'm reflecting on the same thing. Maybe I need to adjust something, but if you don't write it down, sometimes you can a month go by and you're reflecting almost on the same thing. Number 5 is that you might be addicted to distraction more than you think. So what it means is distraction. When you're reflecting, then phone comes up, music comes up, uh, any kind of distraction, YouTube background noise. There's so many things that could come up when you're reflecting. And reflection is not a movie that you sit down, eat the popcorn, and enjoy your time. That's not how reflection works. Reflection requires quality time, being able to be present, be able to focus, being productive. This is exercise. This is gym. So that means we need to be able to wear specific shoes, specific clothing, and go there and reflect and develop that muscle. And we need to be intentional about rather than treating as a movie that we need to really look into it. And that, of course, doesn't lead. You need to really silence and sustained attention to really reflect. So, what are the 4 steps that really making sure that we really reflect properly? So, number 1, as I said, narrow the scope brutality. So that means we need to really brutally, we need to really look into what specifically do I want to reflect today on? What specifically do I want to reflect? Sometimes it's able to really broad and be on a lookout, but give yourself like 5, 10, 15 minutes, just be very, very broad. Do you want to reflect this on this, on this? And then allow yourself sometimes step on one specific topic. But this is supposed to be only 5, 10, 15 minutes of your reflection session. And then you're able to really from wide become specific to one topic and then reflect all left time on the thing specifically that you need brutally. That is extremely important. Number 2, answer questions you can't dodge in writing. In writing. So that means that the most important key specifically things that really matters to you and will never change. When you write it down, that is concrete. This is a committing and accepting that this is the truth. Not the idea anymore. This is the truth. And I think that is great to reflect on paper as a journal. Not every single thing needs and must be written on a page, but the most important things that really matters and meaningful, non-negotiables. I think it is great that you write down. You know exactly this is the truth because I'm writing this down. This is important, and I think that if you write down everything, it reduces the power. But when you write down all the key aspects, and you ask what are the key aspects of my life, what are the importance, what are the non-negotiables, and then write down those things. I think extremely important. Number 3, look for patterns, not for meaning. Sometimes you're like, why? And you get stuck with that question, why? Go deep in that why, looking for meaning. But sometimes maybe we can look into patterns. What did they do? What did I repeated avoided? What did I repeated mistakes, repeated excuses? There are so many things that I repeated, and we can, when we see the patterns, we're able to really say, what could they do to really break this cycle, break this pattern, really include new action in this pattern that I could create new cycle. Because sometimes we are in negative cycle, and sometimes we really remove, change only couple actions, and everything becomes in a positive cycle. Like regarding with the beliefs, I really love the cycle of belief is that when you really have a belief, certain it's like negative belief, so that means that your attitude will be negative because the belief is negative. Your actions will be negative, so that means you will hold yourself back because your attitude is bad, and because your actions are negative, now you are having negative output, negative results, and because of negative results, you get negative beliefs, enforced negative beliefs. And exactly the same thing is with positive belief. Positive belief gives you positive attitude. Positive attitude gives you positive thoughts, and then positive thoughts give you positive actions, and positive actions give you positive outputs, and positive outputs enforces positive beliefs. So which cycles do you want to be in? Which patterns do you want to be in? There's a lot of patterns like this in our life that is enforcing belief that is wrong. We just need to adjust a few things, and everything will change. The last one, number 4, for reflection step is accept discomfort and stay anyway. So when you reflect, when you reach something uncomfortable, don't run away from it. We've been suppressing it, avoiding it for so long. Maybe it's time to face it straight on and say, "Come on, I'm ready. I have emotional maturity now to handle it. I didn't have it when I was 20. I didn't have it when I was 10. I have it now, and I will hold myself here. I will get comfortable with this uncomfortable feeling, and I will not allow this emotion to control my life anymore." That's a beautiful thing when you're able to reflect that. I'm comfortable with my mistakes. I'm comfortable with my shortcomings. I'm comfortable with my weaknesses. I'm comfortable with all the bad decisions that led to terrible outcomes, terrible emotions. I'm allowing myself to feel it. I'm allowing myself to accept it. I'm allowing myself to move forward because of it. So I hope you reflect, because that's a beautiful topic. I hope that you will really sit with that uneasiness and allow yourself to move forward. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.